and get started with a slideshow. All right, so tonight I've named our training the Sandwich Law, which is my own personal thing. If you look that up on the internet, you're not going to find anything about that at all, ever. So this is just something that I keep in mind whenever I am going through and inviting people. Can everyone see the big delicious sandwich on the screen? Yes, it's making you hungry, right? I know. So the reason why I wanted to get into this is because, you know, we have so many great things coming up when it comes to sneak peeks and challenge groups, and I want to make sure you guys know how to talk to people to get them to be a part of it. And it could be kind of overwhelming in the beginning when you're thinking about inviting people, because you don't want to come across as sleazy or, you know, real salesy with it. I know all of us, I can raise my hand for myself and say I felt like that in the beginning too. And that's where the Sandwich Law comes into effect. So the one question that I want to ask yourself, I want you to ask yourself, and I know the answer to all of your answers to this would be, how do you eat a sandwich? If I gave you a 6 foot long from Subway right now, would you eat it all at once by cramming it in your mouth, or would you take small bites so that you can manage them? And I'm pretty sure you're all going to say the number 2 answer, small bites, correct? Nod your head if you agree with me. I can see you. So that's how you need to look at inviting. And that's what I just want to kind of break down with you too, is you have to look at it, the invitation to join, as a sandwich, and breaking it down into small, manageable bites so that the people that you're talking to are not overwhelmed and choke on the information that you're giving them. Because nobody likes that at all. I know that you don't, I don't, nobody does. So the first step when it comes to inviting anybody to anything, and this could be a free group, this could be to coaching, this could be to a challenge group, it could be just to get healthier, just to start, you know, the whole process of getting them hooked up with the program, is to greet them. Just like you would at a restaurant or anywhere else that you would go, you're going to walk up to somebody, or in this case, send them a message and greet them with personal detail. So what you don't want to do is shoot out a message right away. Hey, Amanda, it's Katie. I'm so happy to see you on Facebook. I want you to be in my challenge group. You should do this. It's $140. Let's go. Because that's not the way you want to go ahead and approach it. It's going to turn people off right away. So what you want to focus on first and foremost is building connections with people. This business is all about connections. So something, you know, that you could say, whoops, I skipped that one really quickly. It's just, you know, hey, how are you? I saw you just went on a trip to the mountains. It looked really cool. What all did you guys do? And just start a dialogue and go back and forth. With me, you know, whenever I shoot out, or I'm starting the process of inviting, I shoot out some messages. I take some time to go on that person's page first to see what's going on. Because what I want to do is I want to spread the sparkle I have to give, whether it be ridiculousness, my humor, the ability to be in a challenge group, whatever it is. I want them to know that I'm coming from an authentic place, which I always am when I'm trying to talk to them. I want to know how I can help them best. So knowing the personal details going on in their life, you know, just kind of engaging with them to start that kind of relationship is what's going to help you start building trust. And this is a skill that you can practice in the beginning. You know, if you're brand new to coaching, you're brand new to business building, and you're thinking, what should I do? You want to start with connecting. You know, a BAT, which those of you who don't know, that's the business activity tracker. It's a way you can track what you do on a daily basis to help you stay on track with meeting any kind of goals you have. One of those things is to connect to 5 new people each day. So if you're connecting to 5 people each day, that would be something like that, reaching out and asking how their summer's been, or something with their kids, or maybe they shared a recipe and you're curious about it, or something like that. Just sharing that care and compassion, and you know, just establishing the connection. If you are just kind of new to this, that's a great way to get started with everybody, because there's probably a lot of people on your Facebook that you need to catch up with, that you haven't talked to for a while. And it's you know, Facebook is a great way to get you connected back with people from the past. Use it as the greeting to say, hey, how's it going? Share something personal and kind of start a dialogue from there. The second part of this whole sandwich process is when you actually present the sandwich to somebody. And when I say present the sandwich, that is the actual invitation. And inviting can be kind of tricky because, again, you don't want to come off sleazy. I was always so afraid of that in the beginning. And I didn't know how to bring up the actual challenge group or free group or coaching opportunity. And what I found is that you always want to be piggybacking off of the previous conversation, regardless of where you're at in this process. You want to piggyback. So if you were just having a conversation about Amanda's trip to the mountains, you're talking about all different kinds of things, you want to start that conversation with something about that, and then lead into the invitation, but you always want to relate it to something that's going on in their life, because that's real, that's following up, that's being authentic. You don't want to sound desperate at all whenever you're starting the invitation process. That's something that I think some people in the beginning, I was terrible. I know I shared in our Sparkle Squad page the worst invitation ever that I sent out to people, and it was disgustingly desperate. But I didn't mean it that way. It just was, I was so excited I was sharing all of this information. But you have to think back to that sandwich. You don't want to give away all that information in one huge chunk, because nobody can digest it easily. They have to have these small little bites that are there. They're not going to scare them. So this is an example of kind of how I invite somebody when I'm shooting out some things after I've been connecting with them. You know, hey, Amanda, how are you? Saw you went to the mountains. We'll just stick with this mountain thing right now. And then what I always do is I always acknowledge my randomness of the invitation, because you know it's random when you're inviting them sometimes, because you're bringing it up kind of out of nowhere, unless they said, hey, Josie, I know that you're doing this health coach thing. Can you help me? Which doesn't really happen as much as we would love it to. But when you bring up whatever you're going to invite them to, it's great to acknowledge the randomness and use very non-threatening verbiage. So what I usually say is something just like this. Hey, I know it's random. I'm not sure if you would be into this or into it, but I'm hosting a group, you know, and if I'm hosting a free 5-day meal prep group, whatever kind of group you have going on, and I'd love to have some more people join me to help with accountability. Is that something new that would interest you? That's really all that I get into in saying. Now, of course, if it's a coach sneak peek, I would say something like, I'm hosting a coach sneak peek. I would love to have, you know, some people just like yourself to join me. Is that something that would interest you? Just something very small that's going to bring up a yes or no kind of question or answer to the question. And usually people will want more information, because you're being kind of vague here. That's what you want to be doing with these messages. You want to be breadcrumbing a little bit at a time so it's not overwhelming. You can always give them an option to opt out of it. You know, it's totally cool if you don't want to be in this, but I thought of you. I thought you might really enjoy this because you're talking all the time about how you want to get healthier. Would you be interested? So someone like that, where you say, you know, it's totally okay if you're not interested. It gives a little bit of a less threatening feel to anybody when you're inviting this. So keep that in mind too. You want to get them to say yes. Obviously, that's the main goal. Is yes, I want to be in the group. Yes, I want to learn more. But once they say yes, that is something that would interest me, because you're not asking them right there to buy anything or do anything. You're just saying, is this something that would interest you? Then you want to turn the conversation completely into that person, all about them. You know, well, tell me about you. What's your goal? You know, what has you interested in the group? What could I best help you with? What hasn't worked in the past? Just kind of get a little bit of information from whatever they're coming from, whatever place, so that you can get on the same page with them. And then what I like to do there is just bring in this method called the feel, felt, found, which is kind of like, I know how you feel, Amanda. I felt like I was never going to lose weight either. And then I found this really great avenue by having the support and accountability through online Facebook groups, and that helped me lose 30 pounds. So you let them know that you felt the same way as them, you know how they feel, and you found something that worked. That's really all that I do, is break that down. And it sounds kind of simple when I say it that way, and really inviting isn't as crazy as people make it out to be. But it is crazy in the beginning if you're getting into it and you're using this crazy verbiage and throwing all these numbers and things, and 21-day fix, you can have 4 proteins and this, and nobody knows what's going on with that. There's no value in it yet. So once you've gotten a yes from them, or even a maybe, or I need some more information, then the struggle is going to become real. And you are there to present a solution. And the struggle is going to be their struggle, what their problem is. Well, I just don't have any time to work out. I don't have time to go to the gym for an hour. You know, I don't eat healthy. I don't know how to make food for myself. Whatever it is, you're there to present a solution. So what I do is I focus in on one area at a time, and then keep the message short and keep providing information. So if I'm talking to Amanda and she's telling me that the reason why she hasn't been successful yet with what she's doing is because she just doesn't have time, because she was having to drive 20 minutes to the gym, and then she would have to wait for machines. And by the time she got home after that 20-minute drive, it was 2 hours later, and she didn't have any time to do anything she wanted to do at home. Then I know that my focus that I want to really zero in on is the length of time of some of the programs. I know that I'm going to say, hey, we've got programs that are 22 minutes. that you can do at home and never have to worry about driving somewhere that you don't need any other equipment for. How does that sound? And then what I usually do is after I start zeroing in on something like that, I just shoot a little bit of information. If you guys haven't had some time in the back office yet, the back office can be kind of overwhelming. There's lots of things there that can help you. Videos that you can send to your challengers. Videos like, about a particular program. So say I was talking about 22-minute hardcore. I can shoot the actual Beachbody video, link over to them directly from that back office site, and they can check it out. And that way, then I don't really have to explain it that much, especially if it's a program that maybe you've never done that program and you don't know how to tell somebody what to expect. That video is in the back office for all the programs, so you can send them that kind of stuff. So I do that, and then I kind of it's a cat and mouse game where I start going back and forth. Remember, it's about small bites. They share a struggle. You relate to them. You share how you had the same struggle, and they relate to you. You share what you've done that works, then they realize that they can make it work too, because if you can do it, they can do it, right? And then you start breadcrumbing like a boss. I say breadcrumbing all the time because that's just my way of saying a little bit at a time, just enough to make them still have questions, but enough to get them the right amount of information. So use those back office tools. And a question that I will throw in there all the time that I think is really one that gets a lot of great feedback is, do you think this is something that you can do? Do you think you can handle a 22-minute program? Do you think if I gave you a meal plan that really breaks down what food groups you need to eat how many times a day, that's something that you can do? Because most times they're going to say yes. Rarely have I had somebody say, no, I can't make time for 22 minutes a day. And even then, if they do, you can pull out 10-minute trainer. So ask that, do you think this is something that you can do? Because it's also letting them reaffirm that they can do it. They are not a lost cause. They can do this. So ask those reaffirming questions. Step 4, I don't want to supersize that sandwich. In the beginning, you might go in big time, and then they start giving you objections, which I always give whenever somebody says you want to supersize anything, because obviously it's not the right amount of food portion. But those objections are going to happen. And that's one thing that if you're going to make any kind of business out of this opportunity, you're going to have to deal with. And I'll be the first to tell you in the beginning, I would take it very personally if someone gave me an objection and they would say, I can't afford that, I can't do that, I don't want to, or whatever their excuse was. It made me feel like I was inadequate and I wasn't explaining myself right. And that's not the case. What I learned from my early mistakes with coaching and all the objections I was getting was, oh, whoops, somebody's talking. I don't know who it was. Oh, there's Holly. Was that I wasn't giving value.
I had to get the pictures.
Oh, hang on a second. Can you mute yourself? Mute yourself, Holly.
I have no idea how to get on the screen so I can see you guys, but I'll mute myself.
Okay, cool. You'll figure it out. Just listen right now. All right. So back to what I was saying was that I didn't value anything that I was doing. I was saying, hey, you need to buy this challenge pack and you need to drink Shakeology, but I was not telling them why. And if you think back, and you may have been asked to coach or to get it in a challenge group or get a challenge pack or anything like that by somebody else before you joined our team. I know that I was by somebody who I felt was constantly just wanted my money because she just kept saying, oh, you need to do this. And that's what I was doing in the beginning, which makes me embarrassed to say, but I wasn't giving any kind of value. So when you're looking at this little screen right here, I put this up here because I thought that it was a reasonable comparison. Because what the easiest way for you to share value into something is making sure you're breaking down what everyone's going to be getting for that challenge pack purchase when they get it. Because if you just say to somebody, hey, it's $140, there it is, you might think that's a lot of money. I mean, that's what that little picture of the wallet I have up there, that's how much I spent on a wallet, which does absolutely nothing for me, but just sits in my purse. When you say, well, if for $140 you can get this wallet, or for $140 you can get a complete workout system that covers 7 days of workouts, you're going to get a very specific meal planning system that comes with a book, that comes with containers to help you prep, your shaker cup, 30 days of meals, In addition to that, you're going to get some special workouts because you're purchasing from a coach. Because in case you guys didn't know that, anytime a challenger or customer purchases from one of you guys, they get a special bonus DVD as a thank you for purchasing through a coach. Beyond that, you're going to get 30 days of the Beachbody On Demand, where you have access to cooking shows like Autumn Calabrese Fixate and all of the libraries, all of the workouts in the libraries. And on top of that, if that's not enough, you get me as your coach for all time until you're tired of me and you don't want me anymore. And that's the case, and we'll have a separate conversation. But people don't realize what all that 140 gives. You know, when I look back to when I bought my challenge pack, and my challenge pack was $205, I did not have Beachbody On Demand then, it wasn't out. When I look back now on that money I spent on that challenge pack, that was by far the best money I ever spent on myself, ever. And I will never think differently. But if someone would have broken down to me what all I was going to be getting, I would have probably bought that thing way sooner than what I did. So think about it when people are giving you objections with their, you know, as far as the cost and those kind of areas. Are you building value in it? If they're saying, I don't want Shakeology, I just want the program, are you sharing what you love about Shakeology and how it makes you feel? Because I don't know about you guys, but I can't go without it, whether I'm a coach or not. I've got to drink that stuff. Otherwise, I'm eating all the cookies and all the cake. And it has saved me from so many things. It's helped my hair grow. It's helped my nails grow. My skin get clearer. I know what it's done for me. So do you know what it has done for you? Think about it. Build value when you're talking to people about those kind of objections that are coming up. Step 5, people are going to say no to you. That's bottom line. People are going to say to you, nope, I don't want this. I don't want any of it. Leave me alone. That's okay. I actually really get excited when people tell me no, because in my mind, I think challenge accepted. Because in my mind, I know it's just no right now, not no forever. Just know right now. Maybe I didn't build that value. Maybe, you know, that this person does have a legitimate situation going on that they, you know, they can't do this right now, but that doesn't mean that they can't do it down the road. So what I do is I use a tracker, and this little tracker that there's a picture on our screen is a no tracker, and I have it uploaded in our Sparkle Squad family. This is how I track people. I write down the people that I invite. And then if they say no to me, I write down the reason and the date. And that's what I go back and I follow up to every single month when I need to, you know, kind of check in with people. Of course, I use an online database to kind of organize things too. But I'm very much an old school paper and pen kind of girl. And I like to have this broken down. And I like to see what the no's are. My biggest mistake, well, one of the biggest mistakes when I was beginning coaching, because clearly I'm letting you know I made a lot of them, was that in my mind, I was thinking, I have a great memory. I'm going to remember everyone's problem, why they can't sign up right now. And just like this little thing says on the screen, can you honestly tell me if you'll remember the kind of sandwich everyone likes? Chances are probably not. Yeah, you could the first couple customers. When you start getting hundreds and hundreds and thousands of them, you're not going to remember why somebody told you no. So these kind of trackers, they help you remember and they help you set a plan. Anytime somebody gives me a no answer for inviting, I create a plan for them. In my mind, I say, you know what, Amanda just told me she just had this baby. She's medically not clear to work out for 8 weeks. So I'm going to invite her to be in my free group that I have coming up in 4 weeks. It's all about nutrition because she can still be in that even though she can't work out. And then I'm going to follow up with her in 8 weeks and invite her to my next challenge group. I always have something when someone tells me no that's almost like the challenge of, can I get Amanda to say yes this time? I'm going to work on it. So always have a plan in place. The best thing that you can do with people that say no to you is to segue them into one of your free groups or one of the free groups that we run. Obviously, I do one of those a month, and there's a reason why I do it. It's for those people that say no, or maybe can't afford to do it right yet, or maybe they don't know yet what the benefit is of a challenge group. They're a little bit nervous. It gives that way to segue into the actual challenge group because those free groups are fun. They offer value, and they are also helping you deepen that connection with people, which is really what it's about. You just want to make sure that you're letting them know, hey, Amanda, it's cool. You can't be in that group with me. I totally understand. I know that you have to follow the doctor's orders, but I still want to make sure I can help you out. I would love for you to meet in this free group. We could talk about meal plans and stuff I know down the road that's going to help you. You're still offering them a solution to their struggle. It just might not be the one you thought of at first, but it still is taking baby steps towards getting them to be in the challenge group or whatever else you're trying to invite them to. So find a system that works for you so you can track who's told you no and what their objections are. Leading into step 6, you want to follow up. This is where everybody in the beginning, I think, drops the ball. Again, I was one of them, because the real money, the real success comes from the follow-up. It's reaching out to the person who told you 2 months ago, yeah, you know what, in 2 months, I would really like to be a part of this challenge group. I got to get some things in order, we're moving, whatever. And you actually follow up. That shows that your word is good. You are committed to them. You have not forgotten about them, and you're not going to forget about them when they get started with a workout program. You're going to be there to help them and hold their hand. So make sure you have some kind of system. I'm going to do a separate training on the database I use. It's called Asana, A-S-A-N-A. It's a free database where pretty much every morning I get an email from Asana that says, hey, you need to talk to Josie today about the challenge group, or you need to talk to Rebecca today about this. It sends me a reminder every morning. I need that. I like that. I put my notes in there. And then I schedule the next time I want to follow up. So if Josie says to call her in a month, I can make a note of it right there. So I'm going to do a separate training on that too, but find some kind of a system. If nothing else, just a paper, pen system, that works just fine too. The last step of all of this is when you really want to offer the value meal to everybody. When they have that sandwich and they're loving it, that would be the coaching opportunity. And I think it is really important, and it comes down to the connection too. When you're building that connection with people and determining what their struggle is, to know the timing, to know when the timing is right to offer the coaching opportunity. I don't typically lead with it at all, especially if someone's going to buy a challenge group, unless they've already kind of brought up that they're interested in it. I want them to see the value in it. I want them to fall in love with Shakeology, and then I want to show them, hey, you've got an option to save money on that, and then it makes me look like a hero for offering to share more money or to save them more money and get them a better deal and give them this opportunity to do this awesome thing that we're doing with coaching. So you need to think about it with the timing of when you're going to bring it up. But what I will do is I will focus up with every single challenger at the end of every single challenge group. And if you have people in the challenge group, for example, right now, guys, our group has like 80 people in it. It's the biggest one we've ever had. You all have people in there. So what I would definitely recommend doing is, you know, touch base with them here and there. You might be talking to them every day anyway. But at the end of the challenge group, reach out to them and let them know that you would love for them to be a part of the family. Let them know, because coaching is a big family. But start with, what'd you think of the challenge group? And then when they say, oh, it was great, I love it so much, then you can lead into, you know, man, you've really inspired a lot of people in this group. You were really setting an awesome example. I'm so proud of you. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? And just bring it up from there. And then they might say, well, I don't know. I don't think I could do that. But, well, what do you think of the Shakeology flavor you have? Are you still loving it? Yeah, oh my gosh, I could never go a day without it. Okay, well, the good thing is you can be a part of the community as a discount coach and still save money and not have to do anything like lead challenge groups if you don't want to or you don't have the time. But it's a great way for you to go ahead and get started saving money and being a part of this community and, you know, all these challenge groups, all these great things that are coming up. So continue to follow up with those people if they tell you no with the coaching. Some of my best coaches told me no over and over and over again and ignored my messages. And even though I can see on Facebook that you saw them, ignored them, and then finally came around. Sometimes it's the thing about timing, and sometimes my timing was off when I invited them. But sometimes I drop the ball and follow up. So that's what you want to do, is make sure that you're following up with everything. Your goal, guys, as a coach, regardless if you're looking for challengers, if you're looking for coaches, whatever, your goal is to make everyone want that sandwich before you even offer it. So that comes down to posting. That comes down to, are you doing things every day that make people want to tune into your page, that you're inspiring them with your workouts and your recipes, and they want to try Shakeology because it's just, everything is so fun and they just love reading what you're sharing, because that's what it's about. That way you don't have to do the inviting because they're coming to you. So that's what I wanted to really kind of do really fast, talk about those things. And I want to know what questions you guys have right now. I know I talk really fast, but we're limited time. Everyone can unmute themselves. They can talk if you want. Josie's moving her mouth, but I can't hear.
Yep, there we go. I'm here.
Well, hello. Anybody have any questions on that as far as inviting, or any struggles they have that they want me to?
Was somebody talking?
I didn't hear anything, but
Oh, okay.
could be the voices in your head.
No, that's music in my head.
Well, that's true.
So what do you do with the people that sign up to coach, and then I noticed one or two of my coaches, I'm noticing in there that it says one coach is about to be inactive or something like that. What do you do with them?
Okay, so what that means, that's something, when they're inactive, that means that they don't have the PV to be considered active. To be active, you need to have 50 PV, which could come, that's personal volume. It could come from your own personal orders, or it could come from anyone purchasing from you. So for example, some of your people that are going inactive, it could be they delayed their Shakeology order. It could be they canceled it for the month. It, just really, it's usually that. It's usually always Shakeology.
Okay.
And sometimes it doesn't matter. I shouldn't say.
Fly lives long, but I think it's longer than 6 hours, isn't it?
I don't know who's that is.
Five?
That
Yeah. It's like
I don't know
90
who's talking right now. It sounds like a man. I don't know any. Oh, look, there's Beth. Even though Beth is on the call.
It's my husband, Randy. Sorry, I'll mute myself again.
Oh, Randy.
Sorry.
You guys were crazy at the Indians game or wherever you were. Anyway, what I would do, Josie, is I would reach out to them and ask them, because where it becomes a problem is if it affects your rank, where you drop rank. Now, as an Emerald coach, I don't want to say it's that big of a deal. It really starts impacting you when you start hitting like Diamond or Star Diamond and those bonuses. When it comes down to a coach going inactive and you missing out on a $5,000 bonus,
Oh,
you get them active.
okay.
So that's something like I would reach out to them to say, hey, I noticed you were going inactive. What's going on? And see what they say. If
Okay.
they're showing in your back office as red, if it's a red inactive, that means that that they're projected to be inactive, but they're not inactive yet.
Okay.
I just heard a pug snort. I know it's coming from Jennifer's pugs. But so I would reach out to your people and just say what's going on and see what they say. And they might go, oh, I just delayed it, and they didn't realize it messed it up. It's okay.
Okay.
That's all right.
Oh.
Anyone else have any questions or things to say? Or not at this moment in time?
How do you respond to the "I can't afford it" question? That's the one I get most.
Me too.
I usually, that was the one that I got the most in the beginning. And I did this little picture that I think I shared in the group explaining how I made it work for me, because I didn't want to spend the money on it at all with Shakeology. Are you talking Shakeology or just challenge packs in general or anything?
Mostly the shake, because obviously the workout thing you can get for fairly inexpensive, but it's the recurring $120, even if it's $90 for me or whatever. I mean, that's kind of a lot. Like, I understand the benefit, but initially people don't.
Don't get it. Yeah, what I do with that is if they start with me right there on the price, I always just try to see where we can cut spending out for them to be able to afford it. Like for me, I did a little graphic that I had shared about how I went to McDonald's every day and got pancakes every day. And when I cut that out, well, first of all, that went to my weight gain. So I want to thank that for McDonald's for helping me gain weight. But when I took that amount out, that covered the cost right there of my Shakeology a day. Because you figure it's like $380 or something for a coach per day. The other thing that I like to break down to people is that it's not a protein shake, which is probably, if you didn't watch the training I did on Shakeology like a couple of weeks back, it's listed in the trainings. Look at that. But it's so much more than that. So it's legit a meal. So what people should be looking at as is not just a shake to supplement things, but as an actual meal to replace the cost of their groceries for that meal. So if someone tells me that, I work with them individually to try to figure out how we can cut out the money for them to be able to do it. If they're going to Starbucks every single day or whatever. And if they start throwing excuses at me about it, well, I can't give up my Starbucks, I can't do this, then I do a takeaway with them. That's just an old school technique that I do, where I then remove my offer of the Shakeology help. And I say, you know what? I can tell you're not serious about your health right now, and that's okay. When you're ready, let me know. Because no one likes hearing you say, Amanda, you're not serious about your health right now, but when you're ready, let me know. Because that right there, that fires me up and goes, oh no, I'm ready. And then I go from there. But what I will say is that sometimes legit people can't afford the Shakeology. Legit. So what I look at is like a hierarchy of how I try to offer things. I always go for the challenge pack first. It's the best value for them. Then from there, I go to just the workout program if they can't do Shakeology. And then from there, I go to the Beachbody On Demand, because that is by far, if you do the $99 for a year,
Yeah.
that's, you know, and sometimes you have to start that way. I will say this too, just as some of my best coaches said no to me, a lot of them didn't start with Shakeology. A lot of them took a year or so before they even started drinking it. So in my mind, our goal is to help them as best as we can get healthier. And we need to realize that everybody is doing it at a different pace. And they might really want the Shakeology. You might not be able to do it now, but they're doing some budgeting to get it in next month or the following month. I still want to help those people because I know the value of them. And they're going to look at you as someone that's there to help them instead of that pushy salesperson saying, you've got to buy this or you're not in my group. You know, we're one of the very few teams out there that does not require Shakeology for every single challenge group. And everybody else says you've got to have it. And I just will not agree with it. I'll do it for groups like, for example, the Country Heat one that I gave away last month, because that's a big prize. That's a $70 prize someone's getting. There's got to be some kind of buy-in for them to want to be participating in that. But that's
Right.
like once a year I require it. Every other time, I don't want to turn people away. And there's a lot of coaches out there that get a lot of crap and have a bad experience or have challengers that don't want to be a part of those groups anymore because they're saying, well, you don't have Shakeology, you're out. You can't be in this group. I don't care if you bought anything else from me, you're out.
Wow.
So I think it just comes down to sharing the value, determining what's best for them. And there's going to be times where people are going to say that, and feel free to message me or copy or screenshot me the conversation so I could try to help you with it. Because sometimes we can combat it. Sometimes we can't. You know, and that's being realistic. I'm not going to sit here and say, guys, everybody, we can magically share a graphic about pancakes and make them want Shakeology. But some we can. But a lot we have to kind of figure out what they need and get them to the right place and then show a value in the challenge groups. Because guess what? Most of the people that are in our challenge groups that are not drinking Shakeology, the way that you guys are talking about it and posting in the challenge tracker, they're going to say, what is that? I want to try it. Oh, I got to have it now.
Well, but wouldn't it be your results would be better? I would think that they would see that the people who are drinking Shakeology have, 50% better results than they do without it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's what, whenever somebody messages me and they say, I don't want the challenge pack, but I'd rather just get the program, I will say, well, you know what? I can honestly tell you that your results are going to be much better if you drink Shakeology. And this is why. And if they still say no, well, they'll see for themselves in the challenge groups. They'll see the other people who are doing it. They'll see things they're sharing about it. And then hopefully get on board with it. But it's hard sometimes with the price suggestion, because that's where it always comes down to Shakeology. But as long as you know what it's doing for you and what you like about it, that's where that value comes into it, and understanding how to explain it. So watch that training if you haven't, so you feel more comfortable just talking about it. Because in the beginning, that was my issue, was I wasn't very comfortable talking about Shakeology. I didn't know enough about it. I was like, yeah, it tastes like candy. That's really all that I offered. I didn't know how to talk about the health benefits and what it had done for me personally. Anybody else have any questions? No? Everyone's tired now. Everyone looks ready for bed but me. I'm like ready to roll. My night is just beginning.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, if you have
That's my
any
bedtime.
questions, feel free to message me. I mean, inviting is one of those things that we could do trainings on every single day for probably 2 months straight, and you're still going to have questions. Inviting is a hard topic. That's why I want to just go over the big things today, to kind of break it down and make it relatable to a freaking sandwich that you're shoving in your mouth, and think about how you're presenting it that way. And then we can talk more about it in more detail. The coach training group I have starting next Monday, if you guys would need to be in it, to go over these things in more detail. It's going to be 14 days. If you haven't done one, feel free to hop into that too. Okay?
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me. We are a few minutes late, so we got to get off so you can go do your family and sleep stuff. So I will talk to you guys later on.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye.